The main worry for a new Hall effect keyboard owner is the magnet. It's an unseen, mysterious force. There's a fear that even one wrong drop of lubricant could disrupt the sensor and permanently damage the Hall effect. This anxiety makes sense, however, it is also not justified. This is not a tutorial, this is a complete guide. We will break down the myth, explain the science, and give you a clear protocol for perfecting your switches. First, we need to correct our terminology. A common myth claims that since Hall effect actuation is contactless, the switch itself must be frictionless. This confuses actuation with movement. The actuation is truly contactless. A magnet on the stem moves down toward a sensor on the PCB. It is elegant. However, the movement is purely mechanical. It uses a plastic stem that slides inside a plastic housing, pushed by a metal spring. And this is where our problems lie. The real villains are not magnetic, they are mechanical and acoustic. Villain 1. Plastic on plastic friction. The rough sound of the stem sliders grinding against the housing's internal rails. Villain 2. Spring resonance. The sharp metallic sound of a dry spring compressing. Villain 3. Stem wobble. The noise of the stem hitting the top housing during the upstroke. Our goal in lubricating is not to fix the sensor. We want to do a specific acoustic treatment. We are changing a scratchy, pingy plastic assembly into a smooth, solid precision part. Which brings us to the main concern. Will this interfere with this? Let's be clear. The answer is a definite no for two simple scientific reasons. First, this lubricant is dielectric. It acts as an electrical insulator. It does not conduct electricity, so it cannot cause a short circuit on the PCB. Second, this lubricant is non-magnetic. It is chemically inert and non-ferrous. A magnetic field passes through this grease just like it passes through the air. In fact, industrial magnetic sensors are built to work reliably even in environments contaminated with oil and grease. This fear is a myth. The real risk of lubricating a Hall effect switch is not electromagnetic, it is mechanical. The real risk is using too much grease. Applying too much thick grease creates hydraulic resistance, or stiction. The switch becomes mushy, sluggish, or dead. The sensor, which works perfectly, will just report the position of a stem that is now physically blocked by your overzealous application. This is our toolkit. It is focused. We are using only Krytox 205G0. This high viscosity grease provides the best sound dampening for the deepest, most muted thok. However, it can be less forgiving. It carries the highest risk of sluggishness, which is why our protocol must be precise. To maintain this precision and avoid a disaster, a simple lube station or tray is essential. It lets you work methodically, arranging each component in a grid. This is a ritual, not a race. We now have the why and the what. We can proceed to the how. The main idea for this application is the Evanescent Coat. The goal is to create a layer that is nearly invisible. It should have a subtle sheen, not a thick, opaque coating. If you can see the white grease, you've applied too much. Remember, less is more. Here is the 6-step protocol. Step 1. Preparation and organization. Start by opening your switches. Organize them neatly on your lube station. Place the bottom housings in one row, the stems in another, and the springs in a third. This organization is key to achieving consistent results. Step 2. Spring preparation. We must eliminate the ping. Take your brush and apply a small amount of 205G0 grease to the very top and bottom of the spring, just enough to dampen the contact points. Do not grease the entire spring. This is inefficient and could create stiction. Step 3. Bottom housing. We apply our Evanescent coat of grease. Apply only to the internal guide rails. Now a point of high precision, the central pole hole. This is where the stem pole bottoms out. It is also the primary source of hydraulic resistance, the lube fart. You may lubricate the inside walls of this hole to dampen the bottom out sound, but the layer must be microscopic. Do not allow any grease to pool at the bottom of the hole. This is what creates the airtight seal. When in doubt, leave it dry. Step 4. The stem. This is the key step. Hold the stem. Apply the Evanescent coat to all 4 flat surfaces of the stem sliders. These are the areas that touch the rails. A very light coat on the front and back is also fine. Now the stem pole itself, lubricating this pole will further reduce the clack of the switch bottoming out. However, this is the final danger zone. The coat here must be the thinnest of all, a single, delicate pass. Any excess, any clump, any visible globule, and you will have stiction. You are dampening a sound, not waterproofing a joint. Step 5. The top housing, optional. For effective acoustic treatment, apply a thin layer to the internal rails of the top housing. This will help reduce upstroke rattling. Step 6. Reassembly. Place the treated spring on the post, then put the stem over it. Secure the top housing. The click is satisfying. You have now completed perfect lubrication. One final logical consideration, the factory lube dilemma. You may have noticed that your switches already had some lubricant from the factory. Do you need to clean it all off? In the past, factory lubrication was inconsistent and thick. Cleaning it off was a very difficult task, but manufacturing has improved. Many new HE switches now have a light, even factory application. For most users, the best and simplest option is to apply your thin layer of 205G0 directly over the light factory lube. The small benefit of a complete cleaning often does not justify the hours of tedious work. This changes the nature of the task. Hand lubing is no longer a necessary fix for a flawed product. It is bespoke tuning. It is the final, thoughtful act of craftsmanship that turns a mass-produced component into an instrument that is uniquely and quietly yours. So, what does all these eventually get us? Let us take a listen. So, we have established a new framework. The fear of lubing a Hall effect switch is a myth. The real risk is not electromagnetic, it is mechanical. The issue is not the sensor, it is viscosity. By applying a precise thin coat, you are not risking your hardware. You are simply enhancing its acoustic and tactile experience. Now that you have perfected the feel and sound of your board, the next step is to improve its look. In our next Brew Down, we will explore the world of keycap canvases and how the art on your keys defines the soul of your desk. Subscribe if you value the details.